Meka Whaitiri.
Inga membo te wharenei, tēnā tātou katoa. Mr Speaker, I firstly want to thank a very learned colleague of ours, the Honourable Annette King, to writing to the Speaker, and of course yourself, Mr Speaker, for accepting this as an urgent debate. I want to acknowledge the member who just sat down, the member for the electorate of Tukituki, or what some people in my electorate are saying, tiko tiko, which is the Māori for diarrhoea. But also, all kidding aside, sir, I want to say to that member that bringing this important issue to the House, so you on that side, government, can say what you're doing about it, is not grandstanding. It's not grandstanding. It's actually saying that in this House, that the biggest waterborne outbreak known to any place in New Zealand has happened in Havelock North. The largest waterborne outbreak we are talking about here, sir. So it isn't something that we need to hide away from or not. We are in a political house. The issue is the people of Havelock have been left high and dry. That's the assertion here, sir. They have been left high and dry. This is a serious matter. The people of Havelock, 13,000 people. This outbreak has affected about 2,000 people that we know of, sir. 2,000. In my calculation, that's about 15% of the population of Havelock. Now, if this was an earthquake, if this was a flood, if this was a fire, would we be still sitting on our hands days after we've known that there's been an outbreak? I would say no, sir. We needed a government of action, not platitudes. They needed an action when at the most time in Hawke's Bay and Havelock they needed it. They absolutely needed leadership, and they never got it. Sir, I live but 7 minutes from the village of Havelock North. I don't consider myself a local, but I know the area really well. And it's a very, very good area, Havelock North. And I'm also told that on Friday, while we were going through whether it was contaminated or not, you also saw the holding of the primary cross-country competition in Havelock. We're not, maybe not so much thousands, but definitely hundreds of young people participated in the cross-country event in Havelock. So you can just imagine hundreds of young people running around Havelock North, and of course they're going to drink because they're in Havelock North and they've just finished an event, but they didn't know to boil their water until 5:30 that afternoon, sir. 5:30 that afternoon. So it is a serious matter, and I have yet to hear from that side of the House as to what practical steps they're going to do. I want to commend the local leadership of the Hastings District Council, Mayor Yule, who actually took it on the chin and took responsibility for it. But there was a point in time, sir, that I believe that we should have had intervention. And I heard the member say that communications breakdown didn't happen. I take from that he wasn't informed till too late. But I do want to say that the actions of the Hawke's Bay District Council and the Hawke's Bay District Council could have been aided if the government came to the party early enough. It makes me ask the question, how well is our civil emergency system operating in New Zealand? How is it that on Tuesday last week that the supply was tested? How was Tuesday of August the 9th it was tested, and the results weren't made till Friday the 12th of August. So Tuesday to Friday, you are talking, sir, of about 4 days. 4 days. And we've heard the stats. We've heard the 2,000 people that are affected. We've heard the 22 who at this moment are in hospital. We've heard the impact it's had on the elderly in the rest homes and also the vulnerable families that we have in Havelock North. And yet, we didn't hear anything from this government. Sir, like I said, This is the biggest and largest waterborne outbreak that we have seen in this country, and the government have been left wanting. And yes, there is going to be an inquiry, and I want to say to the member of Tukituki that I would put my hand up to be part of the terms of reference for that inquiry as a person that lives in that area. And because of the importance of water, not only to the people of Hawke's Bay, but to all the people of Havelock North, but to all the people of Hawke's Bay. Sir, we're lucky in Hawke's Bay to be on an aquifer. The local iwi call it Te Hauku Nui, the giver of life, not only to the people that live in Hawke's Bay, sir, but also because it is the heart of the horticultural and to the wider surrounding agricultural sector. So we do need to take this matter seriously, sir. We do need to take urgent steps, not only to make sure that the inquiry does ask those questions: how did this happen? How do we get animal contamination deep down in an aquifer? I know, like I share with many people from Hawke's Bay, we're all stunned that the aquifer can be contaminated. Nobody knows why, and that is why the inquiry needs to ask those questions of how it occurred. But more importantly, sir, from my perspective, we have to learn from this outbreak so it doesn't ever occur again. Now, down the road, sir, this is the interesting thing about Hawke's Bay. We've had this major contamination in the suburb of Havelock North, and yet just down the road we have two major water bottling plants. And I want to commend the water bottling plant that has come to the party to offer free water for the elderly. But I do believe, sir, that free water should be available for all communities, the community of Havelock North. Because it is our gold in Hawke's Bay. Our aquifer water is our gold, and every household, sir, in the Havelock area and the wider Hawke's Bay area deserve to have clean drinking water. And so, sir, join on and all members on this side to ensure and to hold the government to account, which is our job, to make sure that outbreaks like this are not only actioned through real practical suggestions. I have had reports that the local medical centres in Havelock were just overwhelmed. Why we didn't think about putting in some doctors or some emergency medical centre in Havelock to alleviate the pressures that local doctors were experiencing. And that some of the cases that were presented that weren't specifically related to this outbreak were asked to be deferred, sir. Why didn't we do that? Why couldn't we do that? What stopped us doing that? The free water I touched on. And then there was also who was getting around to knock on doors, particularly of the elderly, but also of our vulnerable families within Havelock North, to make sure that they were okay. It is happening now, sir, and I commend those that are doing it. But why didn't it happen on Friday when we first found out that it was contaminated? Why wasn't there a plan of action on Saturday and Sunday? Why has the water tank only turned up yesterday and not on the weekend? These are really important questions, and I hold the government to account because we knew on Friday that it was contaminated. Late on Friday, 5:30, the message went out to boil your water. And then everybody was left to their own devices on Saturday and Sunday, and now we've seen a bit of action on Monday, and here we are in the House debating it, sir. It is a serious matter. I am pleased that we've brought it to this House to debate. I have yet to hear it from this side what practical steps they're going to do to assist the outbreak now, but more importantly, sir, I'm interested in hearing from the government how they're going to take the lessons from this to prevent it ever happening again and to ensure that our civil emergency system is fit for purpose. Kia ora tātou.
Dr. Shane Reti.